Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Hello? If you guys can hear me and see me, please push one. Can you guys see me? Push one if you can see me, if you can see me and hear me. Okay, I see some ones. I don't know what's going on. Let me just drop my thank you guys. I appreciate it. Awesome. All right. The craziness is abound. The Kremlin's certainly in effect. I don't know, the Cody Robyn gremlins. All right. So uh we're gonna go ahead and drop the intro. Then we're gonna jump right into the show. I'm gonna try to keep it as just so we know and we're all on the same page. I'm gonna try to keep this at a tight hour and a half, maybe 2 hour show, just so that we can be respectful of everybody's time and also just a condition because normally during the last season we were kind of going kind of late, so I want to try to avoid that this year. So I'm gonna run through my bit, and then I'm going to give an opportunity for you guys to come forward and give me your take, what you think about what either I'm saying or what you expect to see from this season. And I'm excited to hear about what you guys have to say because let's be honest, without you guys, it wouldn't be much of a show. And I always like to get that feedback to feel what everybody else is kind of the temperature of where the room is and what everybody else is thinking. More knowledge, iron sharpens iron and all that good stuff. But before we get too far down into the weeds, let's go ahead and drop this intro and then we'll get right into it right after that. Thanks, guys. Let's get it. I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? All right. That is a very that's one of the songs I had selected from a guy or group. I'm not even sure if it's a guy or a group, but the title of the song is down below, as well as the artist name. So big shout out to them because the song is awesome. They have a couple. Neffex is the name of the artist, but they have a few songs that I like. But this song really hit me when I decided to do the thing. Hey, Lizzie B in the house. What's up? What's up? Hopefully everything went well during your time off, time away. All right. So where are we now, guys? The season is about to start kicking off. You know it's going to be crazy. And here's the thing. Like I thought after Big G's passed, I was like, for those who don't know, I call Garrison Big G's. After Big G's passed, I was like, they're probably going to slow the show down. They're probably slow the show way down because it was so divisive and damaging to the family. And then, this is probably what they should do for everybody's mental health. But then I thought about it. I was like, oh, this is TLC. They don't give a damn about people's mental health. They don't care about their cast. They don't care about their talent. They don't care about people's well-being. This is part of the reason why Michael from 90 Day Fiance, who was hooked up with Angela, why he's suing TLC currently, because he was saying that he didn't feel like he was being protected because Angela Dean would attack him. That's the American. Michael is from Nigeria. He was with her for like 7 years, dating her. Then eventually she tried to get him over here for the 90 Day Fiance show. He was rejected. So she said, okay, in order to get him here, what I'll do is I'll go over to Nigeria, marry him. I'll bring him back over here. Boom, bang, boom. It'll be incredible. She marries him. He stays with her for an additional like 5 years. Okay. And the whole time she's been like terrible to this man, terribly physical, not just mentally abusive, that, things that we can acclaim to some of the members of the Sister Wives cast, but I'm talking about she was physically abusive to this dude on multiple occasions, and nobody stepped in to stop nothing. She went out, terrorized him in his house. She terrorized him like in the street. She humiliated him, embarrassed him. If this was, like I said, if you did a gender swap and this was some man, some rando dude treating a woman like this, they would have had pitchforks and torches out in front of TLC, and they would have got his ass. But Angela Dean, they not only kept her on the show and kept it going, but they made her like one of the franchise people for the particular episode of the particular series of 90 Day Fiance. So with that type of history, and we can go into like the depth and breadth of the type of people that have been on the show, okay? Because there's a few people, felons, okay, violent felons on the show for 90 Day Fiance, violent felons who have committed crimes against women on the show, or have warrants active for them when they go overseas to be on the show to try to get another woman type people. TLC still filmed them. Okay. So that's who we're kind of dealing with. So when I thought about that, I was like, even though Big G's passed, rest in peace, big homie, a little homie. But even though he passed, I was like, maybe they'll do better. Maybe they'll, tell the family to kind of tone it down a little bit so that way they can heal, take a little time to heal and get their mental right. But I don't think that that's the case, y'all. And especially being as though this particular season that we're going to watch is prior to everything that happened over the summer. Okay, not even the summer, earlier this year, because he passed away earlier this year. Lizzie B said, I hope you dive into the Angela Michael drama. The tea is piping hot. Yeah, you know what? To be honest with you, just as a quick aside, with the 90 Day Fiance, I started my channel covering 90 Day Fiance. And so I have deep roots in the 90 Day Fiance. And I absolutely, until I'm sure that they're no longer going to film with Angela Dean, I will not cover any of the new series of 90 Day Fiance, especially if they have something where they bring her back or somebody who is Angela adjacent. Like I heard they were going to bring Skylar, Angela's daughter, onto the show, onto Single Life. If they bring Skylar on, they're bringing Angela back. And if they bring Angela back, I'm not supporting them. They're not getting my eyes or views and my support on that show because I refuse to support. Like, it's one thing, like, I guess in a way, some people can make the argument, well, that's hypocritical because Cody does this, that, and other. But the truth of the matter is that with everything that Cody did, the people who are involved with Cody have vindicated themselves. They've had paths of righteousness where they have slapped him down. So currently what we're watching is Cody getting slapped the hell around by the people that he used to take advantage of. Like, everybody likes to see, I don't know about y'all, I might well say everybody, I might well put it on y'all. I like to see stories where the bully gets his comeuppance. I like to see stories where the person who gets harassed, bullied, mistreated has a turnaround moment and they get to treat the person who victimized them to the same type of treatment they received. I like that. That's karma. I know it's petty as hell, but okay, I'm over it. I'm over it. All right. So it's that fast. So with that, I don't see that type of pathway for Michael. Well, Mike, in fairness, Michael has come up and Angela is pissed. But if TLC keeps bringing her back, then that is what it is. Let me see. Tracy, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Yeah, I hear that's dropping tonight. So that might be, where some of the folks like, oh, let's see this. So what you're looking at, I kind of agree with what where Tracy is. I'll watch the show, and if anything happens, it's interesting, I'll review it. But Y'all, I got about 10 minutes into the new Mormon Wives thing on Hulu. Why the hell I want to watch some privileged adults get in a whole series because they want to swing and stuff? Not here for it. And I can see that perspective because we're pushing down the show when it comes to the Mormon Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Let's be honest. The only reason why they have a show is because the ladies are attractive. Full stop. Full stop. The only reason why they have a show is because the ladies are attractive. And what they're going to do is they're going to spin this. Like I'll be willing to bet, 10 out of 10 that the women at some point later on spin this into like some OnlyFans accounts, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, that's kind of where it is because it's not really talking or depicting the real life of what it's like to be a swinger, because there have been series about that. And we could talk about Mormonism, but the truth of the matter is this would be like a fundamentalist Muslim or fundamentalist Catholic or Jew talking about, oh yeah, I'm super strict when it comes to religion, but every now and again I like to get a little strange. So I go out and bang out my neighbors. Like, you know what I mean? Like at that point, you are no longer, it's not even going to be my choice. It's not even going to be me like, oh, that's hypocritical. It's going to be the people from your church are going to start looking at you. So what you'll hear about later on is some of these people are going to start getting kicked out of their church. And I think that that's where it is. And they've made their decision. And they have to take that into account when they start balancing that out. What is mom talk? Mom talk? What the hell is that? I don't even know what mom talk is. Daddy talk about let's see, I was hoping the show would be similar to Sister Wives, but geez. Also maybe it's my age, Utah. I had no idea about mom talk. LOL. I had no idea there was a mom talk, so I read your comment. That's how far out the loop I am. You know what I mean? I didn't know there was a mom talk. Is there? What is it? A part of TikTok, or is it like a separate thing? Like, I don't get it. What is this? If we got a show for swinging, y'all, my life will curl your toes. Then, and that's the thing. Like, I don't mind watching shows about alternative lifestyles. If they had a show that was genuinely about swinging, it was about like the life and how they pursue it, then I'd be kind of like with average people, with normal folks. You know what I mean? I might even watch that show to see what goes into the decision making to do it, how they pursue it. What are some of the terms and phrases? What are some of the things that they look for? Like, how do you walk into a room full of people and know who to pick? And like, what's their selection processes like? How do they garner these folks? Like, I have ideas on how these things happen, but I like to see it from the source. But when it comes to people who are wealthy and you on play time, and the reality of it is that people with extreme money and people with extreme time, they don't live like normal folks, and they don't have the same burdens, they don't have the same struggles, they don't have the same issues that normal people have. So for them to decide to be able to participate in these types of activities is a little different. If you're an attractive person and you have nothing but time and money to pursue your little debaucherous ideas and pursuits, then you have at it, Hoss. There's nothing you can do. Like, that's not really interesting to me. That's like somebody who has a #1 hit record, is talking about how many people they sleeping with. Yeah, you probably are sleeping with a whole bunch of people. You go to town, you have a hit record, people are trying to sleep with you. They'll sleep with people to get to the back room to sleep with you, for a possibility to sleep with you, so they can be in the same room with you, so they can get a picture. They'll sleep with 3 or 4 dudes to get back there, or 3 or 4 people to get back there to you. So yeah, you probably are living that lifestyle. But that guy, if he worked at Getty or Sunoco, or he was pumping gas or bagging groceries, he wouldn't have that lifestyle. I want to see the lifestyle of the guy who works at the Target or the Walmart and he's living his life. That's what I want to see, the normal person. And that's where the draw, I think, of like Sister Wives, getting back to the subject matter at hand. I think that's the draw of Sister Wives. If the Brown family were in fact, and this is where it gets kind of weird, because I made that whole Cody and the lottery video talking about celebrity and money and wealth and how they misappropriated their money and how that's actually a storyline in the show. If the Brown family were actually super wealthy, there was just a super wealthy, rich Mormon family who's out of Utah. They live in a $5 million or $10 million superplex multi-acred home with a lot of structures on it and things. And we were supposed to watch them. That show would have lasted all but maybe 3 episodes. The draw of the Brown family was the fact that they were supposed to be a normal, everyday family who you could run into at the grocery store. These are supposed to be people who, if you lived next to one of them, you wouldn't know. And oh my goodness, these are the secret lives that they lead and how they do it. That's the draw of the show. There's really no draw in watching rich people play. It's just not, you know what I mean? Because rich people can do that. Like, if you're not even rich, like if you're well off, your husband is making $200,000-$300,000 a year, and you decide that you don't want to work, but you want to go and start sleeping with all the neighbors. Okay, got you. So, let me just look through some of these. All right, Lizzie, have a great trip. I'll see you later. Lizzie B, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give Lizzie B a little something because she swung in on her way between vacations. Lizzie is dedicated. So let's give Lizzie a little something. That's right. Lizzie. All right. So here we go. Hey, Audrey Bringinger, what's going on? So when we talk about what we can expect from this week's episode, as a matter of fact, let me put in before I get too deep into the weeds, I want to put excuse me. I want to put the link into I'll put the link in above the chat. I'll put it to the top. So okay. So if you guys want to start loading in, you can. And then once I get done, we'll start bringing you guys up. All right. So, and then we'll pin that to the top. All right. Set up the hundreds for myself. All right. I have to wait for a couple more messages to come through because it won't let me get down to it. So weird. All right. And don't forget to hit that like. All right, there we go. I had to put a message in. Pin message. There we go. All right, so it's pinned to the top. Now, so what do I expect to see from this season? Season 19, the hotness, I feel like I'm losing my mind. That's gonna be an awesome episode where Cody is breaking down. And you know, to be honest with you, even though I do enjoy seeing a bully get his comeuppance, the human side of me, not Dog James, but the human side of me is looking at that and saying that Cody needs some help. Cody needs to talk to somebody. Cody is in trouble. Like, that man is struggling. Okay, and especially, and I don't know the timing of the shoot of this particular episode where he's out there proclaiming Robyn, and he feels like he's losing his mind because he feels so betrayed. He needs to talk to somebody, because it's one thing for you to be sad and depressed about, losing your situation, your relationship, your job, or whatever the case may be. That's normal. But what's not normal is for you to define yourself by your pain and carry that that depression, and your pain and you being upset starts to lead down the road of depression, to where it's affecting not only you physically, but it's affecting your other relationships, it's affecting your life, and you feel trapped in that spot. You need to talk to somebody. Don't let it get so far afield that you have to get to the level where you're actually considering hurting yourself or somebody else for you to go talk to somebody. You can take any time or any moment that you need to just pick up a phone and dial a helpline number to talk to somebody to help you work through some of your issues and some of your problems. Sometimes you need to just have that fresh set of ears to hear what your issues are, so that that way you can get a different perspective. Now, one of the things that I've always kind of said about Cody, this is right before the preamble, before I get into my expectations for the season, but one of the things that I've always said with Robyn and Cody's relationship, the thing that makes their relationship so strong also makes their relationship so weak and so vulnerable and so fragile. The thing that makes their relationship strong is that Robyn and historically the OG3 would support Cody no matter what decisions he's made, and they would try to make the best of his bad decisions, his bad choices. They wouldn't ridicule him and put him down for his bad behavior, Okay. You can find favor from the good behavior. That's from Cody Brown, a doctrine of Cody Brown. But because he had that mentality, and because he's kind of cultivated that type of relationship with himself, he's developed a position where he is he's developed a position where he can't see where he's made mistakes or errors in his relationships. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else did this or somebody else did that, and I'm being mistreated. I'm being treated wrongly, and you have to see this. And Robyn has supported him in that form, in that fashion, for so many years. To the point where she's encouraged him to see his victimhood, and because she's done that, he now thinks that this is a normal state of being. This is normal that, people are always against you, you're a victim, and da da da. And because he lives in that victimhood, he's trapped. So the type of support that she would give him is the exact type of support he does not need and is not helpful to him. So, with all of that being said, I'm going to get into some of my expectations for what I think may happen this season. Now, none of this is proof positive, and we'll test James's mettle as the season continues. But for Cody and Robyn, I fully expect that they will continue on the image rehabilitation tour. Like, will keep trying to make people see them in a positive light. According to them, the fans don't know who we are. They don't understand how awesome we are. So we have to educate them. Even though the fans have been watching us for 18 seasons. This is one of the longest running reality shows ever. Okay. One of them. This is one of the longest running reality shows ever. And over the course of this long ass time that they've been on TV, apparently nobody has figured them out. Now, my question is, if nobody knows who you are, whose fault is it exactly? Is it the fault of the fans who have been watching the show, tearing the show apart? Let's be honest. You have some damn Sherlock Holmes watching this show, because you have people who will look at that artwork and go piece by piece and analyze just from like the pictures in the home from them trying to sell their house. You have people go back and look at each one of those pieces, find those pieces, and come up with a determinant on how much those pieces of art are worth. You have people go through and look at like all the little figurines and crystals and all the stuff that's in the house and start calculating how much those things are worth. So you're telling me that people who have that much attention to detail have no idea who you are. If they have no idea who you are, it's because you didn't tell them. It's your fault. Cody and Robyn, it's 100% on you. If people don't know who you are, it's on you. It's on you to tell people who you are. I tell my kids all the time, that there's a speech called "We Are the Champions," and in that speech, part of that speech, you can look it up on YouTube. We are the champions. Um, it's a football coach who delivered it, and it's from a movie. But the coach who basically reinterpreted the speech did it so much better than the movie. But one of the lines that really hits me is that I will take the pen and I will write my own history. I will define me, no one else, right? We are the champions. And when it comes to like people like Cody and Robyn, if you feel like people don't know who you are, you take it upon yourself to introduce people to who you are and what you're about. You take it upon yourself to define who you are instead of letting other people define you. The problem is that if people watch you and they watch how you move, it doesn't matter what you say. And that's the part that I think Cody struggles with. Cody and Robyn both struggle with. They think that they can talk their way out of some shit. You can't talk your way into me liking you. If I see you do the wrong thing, if I see you steal, you're a thief. I don't give a damn how much you talk about you against stealing. Oh, I hate liars. I hate people who lie all the time. Don't you? Oh, dishonest, low integrity people. Oh, I hate them so much. If I hear you tell me a bunch of lies, and every time you say something to me as a damn lie, you are a liar. I don't give a shit how much you say you dislike liars. Sorry. So you can't redefine yourself by trying to tell me stories. You have to redefine yourself with your actions. Actions speak louder than words. Who didn't hear that shit when you were a kid? A child. Pardon my French. I've been Frenching it up. I apologize. But who didn't hear that when you were a kid? Who didn't hear that when you were a kid? Your actions speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. There's a ton of sayings that when you were kids, you would hear that all the time. Maybe I'm old timey and they don't say this stuff anymore. But Cody, we all in the same group. You a Gen Xer, I'm a Gen Xer. We all Gen Xers. Wouldn't you like to be a Gen Xer too? Okay, and that's how we grew up. That's one of the things that we understand. Talk is cheap. Stop freaking talking and start showing. Show and prove, dude. Show and prove. Um, the next thing that they're going to say a lot, and I predict that this is going to be the case, and it's not much of a stretch. They're going to talk about how we're the victims. We're the true victims. Everybody is mistreating us. Oh my goodness, everybody is against us. It's terrible. We're the victims. But we don't see ourselves as victims. How does that work? Every time I turn around, one of them says something to that degree. They talk about how much of a victim they are and everybody's against them, everybody's mistreating them, everybody doing them wrong. But then at the same time, they turn right around and say that they don't understand why people keep calling them victims. Don't call me a victim. I ain't no victim, sweetie. Remember Robyn said that shit at UNLV during the panel? I ain't no victim, sweetie. And I watch you victimize yourself the entire time you've been on this show. You were a victim of your first marriage. You were a victim of your first husband. You were a victim because you had kids and didn't want kids. But then you're a victim because the people don't treat your kids good. You're a victim because you joined the family and nobody wanted you in the family. You're a victim because, at what point do you stop being a victim? At what point do you stop signing up to be the victim? And again, take that pen and redefine yourself. Put yourself in situations where you can win. And if it's so bad, why would you join a family of 18? Well, at that time, it was 13 kids. Why would you join a family that had 13 kids or 12? No, 13 kids and 13 kids and 3 other women. If it was such a struggle for you to join that family, why would you sign up for complicated? Who the hell signs up for complicated? Nobody. So it couldn't have been that bad for you to sign up for the shit. I'm just saying, those are my thing. Here's another thing I predict that they're going to say. Robyn and Cody are going to say about the OG3. They stole from us. Pause. Pause. They stole from us because that's what they tried to say. That's what Robyn's been pushing the whole time. She didn't use the exact word stole. She said that she's been deprived of her dream and her goal of being able to sit on the porch. They stole the idea of the big family. They stole the future sister wives family sitting on the porch, the 3 women and 18 kids lining up to kiss Robyn and Cody's collective asses. That's what they stole that from me. I was fully expecting to sit on the porch of my big house with these 3 homeless women and they kids, figuring out which knee they wanted to get on so that they get that perfect lineup to kiss my ass. That's one of the things that they thought they were going to steal. And also the how dare they pursue their own life goals and dreams and happiness. How dare they do that? They stole from me. They took that from me. This was my goal, my dream. We're going to hear a whole bunch of that. That sing song, you feel bad for me, I'm a victim. Wouldn't you like to be a victim too? Living in the victimhood. Okay, pack your bags and move the hell out the victimhood. Okay, move out the victimhood. Move on to self-determination drive. How about that? Okay. What do I expect to see from Robyn? More specifically, a whole lot of excuses. I expect to hear her talk about like, oh, it's not my fault. Oh, it's Cody. Oh, it's between Cody and them. Oh, I didn't know what was happening. Oh, in my mind, this is what should have been going on. Oh, I don't get what's happening around the place because I'm completely unaware of everything that's happening. Oh, in my mind, the relationships are still perfect and it's still feasible and it's still salvageable. Oh, why can't we all work it out? Oh, why can't we all get along? We're going to hear a lot of that. We're going to get a personalized tour, like I said, the victimhood, where she's been trying to drag her kids in, you know what I mean? and just we'll go back. When I say we're going to get a tour of the victimhood, I went through some of the stuff that she's going to try to talk about she's a victim of and how she lost this and she lost that. But even worse, and this is worse to me, even worse than the things that she alleges against the OG3 and the OG13. One of the things that I think is horrible. Okay, and I'm intentionally, just so we're clear, when I talk about the OG13, I'm intentionally leaving Truly out because Truly came in post Robyn. 1, 2, she has yet to blame Truly really for anything, because you can't really blame Truly for a whole lot because Truly's getting the short end of the stick because Truly hasn't gotten a lot of time with Cody because of the way the relationship dynamics worked out. So, with that being said, I want to make it perfectly clear that when I talk about the victimhood, the tour of the victimhood, what I'm specifically talking about and what disgusts me even more, and I can see her portraying this, is something she started doing. Remember when he did the whole, there was a time when we were doing a group call, there was a group text about a holiday, and they made my kids feel like they were outsiders and they weren't welcome. And I am a mama bear, and I'm going to defend my children. And she did that whole thing. Remember that? That was a point when I looked at this and said, okay, she's using her kids as pawns to victimize herself. Like, so she's actually has a weird way of being a victim through her children. Okay, oh, I'm not mad about me. I don't get along with people. I don't talk to people because they're victimizing my kids. See, I'm not a victim, but I'm not going to sit here and let them victimize my kids, because what does that do? That does a couple things. By her putting her kids up, that one makes her by default the hero, the vanguard. She's defending. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. That's cool. I don't even know how you guys did that. But she's making herself the victim. Okay? And she also is making herself the hero. She's making herself the hero because she's her kid's vanguard. She's protecting her kids now. And what good parent won't protect their kids? What good parent isn't protecting their children? And by default, she's also making the OG3 as well as the OG13s the villains. Without saying that they're villainous, she's defining them as villains because they're bullies. They're picking on her kids. Who likes a bully? Nobody. And who likes a bully? Who do we like even less than a bully? The parents or people who are in authority who defend bullies. We like them even less. So if the OG3 are defending their kids who are bullying Robyn's kids, then we like them even less. So let's rally together and tour the victimhood. Yeah. Like the little Remax signs out, open house in the victimhood. So we're going to see a lot of that. And I anchor my my position because I wanted to show you guys a clip. I didn't have time to upload it, and I couldn't find it in my my saved clips. But if you recall, I wanted to find it. I want to describe it. If you recall, there was a time during the look back where Cody and Robyn were sitting on the couch, and Cody went to explain why he didn't like Christine. And he said, I don't like Christine because she was a shit sister wife. And Robyn looked at him and said, well, don't do that. Don't talk about use the sister wife relationships to explain why you have a problem with her. Don't use us. You to say that you have a problem with her. And Cody sat there and he looked so confused. I don't understand what I did wrong. What happened? You sound like you're defending Christine. No, I'm telling you, I don't want you using the sister wife relationships. I gave Robyn some credit. I said, wow, that's pretty impressive that she doesn't want to get pulled in and she wants Cody to take accountability for arguing with Christine and disagreeing with Christine. You have a disagreement with Christine. It's not because she didn't like Robyn and she didn't get along with Janelle or Mary that you have an issue with Christine. You don't like Christine, so you don't get along with Christine. Okay, cool. But then I thought about it. I said, well, Robyn is also defending herself because if he's pulling his sister wife's relationships, then she's afraid that Cody is dragging her out as the reason as to why he doesn't get along with Christine is over her relationship, Christine's relationship with Robyn. And we understood that. And that made perfect sense. But the reason why I think Cody was so confused as to why Robyn was saying, oh my goodness, don't be pulling me into it is because that's what she does. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that. She'll cite her problem with somebody else on somebody else. I have a problem with Christine, Mary, and Janelle, not because I have a problem with it, Robyn. I have a problem with it. I have a problem with them because I have a problem with the way they treat my kids. I have a problem with the way their kids treat my kids. It's not my problem per se. It's the fact that they have a problem with my kids and the way they treat my kids. So I'm a good person because I'm defending my kids. So any dispute that we have is not my fault. And I think we're going to see a whole bunch of that in full portrayal and full valor. And I think that is when we see these types of things, like when Cody said in season 17, tell all, I'm not afraid of nothing but poverty. Period. And Suki laughed in his face. That's something he said actually in the first season. When he went on vacation with on a honeymoon with Robyn, and they were sitting on top of that long zip line. She said something about, you aren't afraid, are you? He said, I'm not afraid of nothing but poverty. That's the first time he rolled that line out on TV, was actually in season 1. And then he repeated again in season 17. So they'll have these actions and these things that they do consistently, and then they'll roll it out on the show. And we'll see it in the show. So I think that we're going to see instances where that happened. And that's an important point to make because we're going to tie that in a little bit. What do I expect to see from Mary? Mary's going to set herself up as the independent as Mary's going to set herself up as independent from the family. So she's not part of the ex-wives club and she's not part of the Cody and Robyn club. So she's independent unto herself. The problem is, I don't know if Mary is necessarily as interesting as the other cast members. Like, I don't want to be a dick about it, but I don't know if there's a whole lot of storyline there for Mary without sans Cody, Robyn, Janelle, and Christine. Like, I just don't know. So it'll be interesting to see that. Like, I know she's going to try to, what I'm expecting her to try to do in this series or this season is to try to define herself as separate and apart from the Cody and Robyn storyline and the Christine and Janelle storyline and try to establish her own independent storyline, which is smart on her part. Like, no shade, it's smart on her part, because without that, if this show does fall apart, she needs to have something where she can at least pitch it to a production company and maybe get another show if Sister Wives gets canceled. So no shade on that. It just kind of is what it is. Janelle, Janelle discovering her independence. Oh, let me just make sure. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Sorry, guys. Janelle, discovering her independence. Why is this different from Mary? Because some people will say, James, you just said Mary didn't have a storyline. So how is Janelle any different? Janelle is way different. A big portion of the reason why Janelle is different is because Janelle just left the family. Okay, their separation is new, it's fresh, it's it was something that a lot of people were like, I don't know why she's still around, and she's kind of still around. But what we didn't know behind the scenes is that Janelle had already hit her breaking point, and she was only hanging on with her fingertips. And then when Cody did that last little bit of foolishness at that thing when he went over to her house and cussed her ass out, that was it for Janelle. That was that was the finger stomp in the finger clutching of cliff hanging. So Janelle was out after that. So I think that was a big difference, you know, because Mary, on contrary to that, Mary was kicked out years ago. Mary hasn't been part of the Brown family for real, for years. Okay, and we could sit here and argue about whether Cody actually told her, whether Cody let her know, or whatever the case may be. But the truth of the matter is that if whether Cody let her know or not, or was leading her on or not, she had plenty of reasons to think that relationship was over. You know, I don't give a shit what he said in private, because publicly he was saying that the relationship was over. And you don't never let no man, I'm saying it like, like I would say it to my daughter, but you don't never let no man tell you in private that he cares so much about you. And when he get around his buddies, because that's usually where you would see this kind of foolishness, even your girl, like, you know, your lady or whatever, you know, in private, you the ace Don Juan, but in front of her friends, you ain't shit. Then no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I like consistency. So if I'm a good dude, I want to be a good dude all the time. When you talk to your friends, I'm a good dude. When we by ourselves, I'm a good dude. But what I can't have is I'm a good dude in one place and I ain't shit in another place. Whether it's private or public or private, I like consistency. So because if you know, let's brass tax it. If you can tell one group of people one thing, you can tell another group of people the exact opposite of the one thing you said, at some point somewhere down the line you are lying, which makes you a liar, which makes you dishonest, which means I can't trust you. And if I can't trust you, my relationships are built on trust. So if I can't trust you, we can't be together. We can't be together. It's not even a choice. It's not even an option. You know, if I can't trust you, I'm not the dude to be sitting up here trying to double check and check shit. Like I ain't got time for all that. So I can't be checking to see if you telling the truth, or checking to see if you lying, or checking to see where you at, and checking to see who you calling. I don't have time for that. I barely have enough time to do all the stuff I need to do. I don't have time to do stuff that like that. So just from that brass tacks, very simple, you know, example, there's no way in the world that Mary should have ever thought that this relationship was actually going to work. Sorry, but not sorry. That's just kind of where I am with that. But with that, and that's not saying that Mary's a bad person or none of that. I'm just saying that, you know, the Janelle and Mary's situation is very different. It's not the same. Okay, they're not like us. Some people will get that. Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Some people will get that. Cody wants Janelle back, you know, and Cody did not want Mary back. So there's an inherent struggle there because Cody actually wants to get Janelle reincorporated back into the family. Whether he wants to bring her in as a full partner, full loved one, or full wife is questionable, but he certainly wants her money back. He certainly wants her financial responsibility and stewardship back because, you know, as much as you may not like, you know, if Janelle is a trust fund, let's say that Cody and Robyn had access to a trust fund and Janelle was the person who was doing the trust fund, the executor of the trust fund. She's the one executing it, deciding what gets spent and what doesn't. So technically, even though Cody and Robyn have access to all this money, they have to still kind of filter it through Janelle because she's the executor. You may cuss that executor out, but that executor is keeping your ass out the poorhouse because they're telling you that when you come back and be like, yo, I want to buy the new Ferrari and the new Lamborghini, and I want to park them in front of my house, they'll look at you and say, look, you don't have Ferrari or Lambo money. Now, what you can do is you can go get yourself a used Corvette or maybe a really nice Camaro or a Mustang and put that in front of your house, but you don't have Ferrari Lambo money. And you certainly don't have Ferrari Lambo maintenance money, which is a big thing. So that person can help you. You won't like it, but that person can help you. And I think that that's one of the things that Janelle added to Cody because she was so thrifty and Cody was so flamboyant with his spending, and so is Robyn. You have two people who are very flamboyant with their spending, and you need somebody who's going to help to regulate you. You need that, or you will destroy yourself financially. And I think that's what Janelle provided. Maybe Cody isn't that specific as to like, I want her back because she really helped me with my money. But he realized, I think deep down, he realized that when I had her, I had more. Now that she's gone, I have way less. So I need to get her back because whatever the solution, whatever that equation is, it worked. So I think there's that. There's a weird part too where Robyn is the only one I think who is keeping the hopes that Mary would be able to come back or be reincorporated into the family alive. Mary's sitting up there, and to Mary's credit, Mary went out and did the damn thing. Like whether it's the MLMs or whatever the case may be, Mary started making money. She started making her way. So yeah, Robyn very well may have been looking at Mary and like, she need to get back into the fold so I could start folding up them papers, because that's what they used to call it back in the day. You could do something strange for do something strange for a little bit of change. But what you really want is some of that fold up, that paper money. You know what I mean? That fold over. So she wanted to try to get Mary back into the family for that. Christine, what do I expect to see from Christine this season? What we're going to see, in my estimation, is we're going to see Christine dating David, and of course, the long-awaited of David's introduction to the family. We're going to see Christine bringing David into the fold and having David participate that way. I'm looking forward to that. But one of the very subtle things with David and Cody meeting, because that's one of the big things, because it's not just David meeting the kids or the other OG 13 kids and meeting the other wives or whatever. It's David's interaction with Cody, David's interaction with Robyn. Here Robyn is trying to smile and shit and grin because, if you're the favorite, you want to be everybody's favorite. So I think that there might be some tension there. And that'll be interesting to see if that is the case. Like, you want to impress the guy who has money, and David apparently has more money than Cody. So, people do what they do. So Robyn might be there smiling in his face. One of the funniest things is during the tell-all of season 18, where Cody was talking about Suki asked Cody, did you meet with David? And he said, yeah, I met with David. But Robyn talked to him like longer than I did. Like, oh, Robyn might have been trying to get the 411. She might have been doing a flirt patrol. Like, hey, David. Over there laughing at all his jokes and stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. But one of the things that really strikes me with David to Cody is that Cody has some real issues with this. And I can understand why he would have some real issues with this, because Cody is facing his replacement. Cody is facing the guy who is taking his place. Okay. And that's a hard pill to swallow for anybody. That's a hard pill to swallow for anybody, especially somebody who may or may not be suffering from narcissistic tendencies. Okay. To feel like you can be replaced. And per usual, most people don't want to see their ex happy anyway. So you don't want to see your ex leave your relationship, break up with you, and then go off and find somebody and be like, this is my person. I'm the happiest I've ever been, especially right after the breakup. Like, you don't want that person to be able to walk right out the door and find somebody immediately. You ain't never gonna be able to find nobody. And they walk right out the door and throw a stone and hit 3-4 people that's better than you. Like, nobody wants to see that. So I can understand that. Funny as hell, but I can understand that. And the weird part about it is it really hurts to know that someone else is now a source of happiness for your former significant other. All right. They're not just like a person who makes them giggle a little bit, but this is their source of happiness. Like, she's using terms like David is my soulmate. Okay. Meaning that, like, our souls were, when people say that, just to understand the depth of it, when people say that, what they mean is that when the souls were born in heaven, because they believe in like that predetermination, when they were born in heaven, they were born in pairs. And the pair is the soulmates. And when they were cast down onto earth, they sought each other out. And when they find each other, that's what makes it so monumental, because these people who were basically made in pairs rediscovered each other. I found my soulmate. And for Cody to hear that he wasn't her soulmate when he thought he was all that in a bag of chips, two piece with a biscuit. He thought he was everything, only to find out that he was nothing, because he wasn't her soulmate. As he has said before, I'm not your soulmate. Robyn is my soulmate. And then for Christine to be able to go out and find somebody who is her soulmate hurts him even deeper. Like, it's insane how much that'll hurt him. So things that could make that situation even worse. And this is what Cody is facing: the reality that David could make Christine happier than he ever could. David is going to do something for Christine that Cody never even had a chance or even opportunity to do, because he had no interest, he had no wherewithal, he had no information, he had no knowledge, he had no experience. For whatever reason, he couldn't be that person for Christine. And David is. That shit hurts. Okay. That would hurt. You tried to get them back and they rejected you. Cody tried to get Christine back. He begged her back. He tried to, he begged her, he talked to her, he threatened her. He said he wasn't going to give her the vitamin D no more. Your prescription for vitamin D is hereby canceled, null and void. And she went out and said, okay, fine, fuck it. And she packed her stuff up and put it in the garage and kicked them out. Then she went and renewed her prescription somewhere else. She went to a new pharmacist and she got herself a new fresh prescription of the vitamin D. And she likes that flavor better. That hurts. Okay. And there's also the weird point is, and this is kind of the sticking point where I think Cody felt like he had more power, is because I don't want to get too deep in their business. And this is merely speculation on my part. But I think that it's fair to say in this assessment that for both Mary and for Christine, Cody was their first. Okay, their first everything. You know what I mean? Like the first verse. So to have your first, there's a certain level of power in that. And there's a lot of people who like that kind of thing. They like to be considered the first, because if they're the first, they feel like they have that lasting energy. Nobody's better than, the only one you've ever had. And then she go out and get somebody who got a little bit of flavor, somebody who's been around, somebody who's been in the world. And, he know more than two positions. Not to get too crass, but it is what it is. And he put that thing on her. Then all of a sudden, she like, he didn't know what he was doing. This dude is killing me, And the reality is that the fact that she has an emotional connection with him that's stronger than the connection she had with Cody, the fact that she may have a physical connection, again, I don't want to get too graphic about it. She may have a stronger physical connection with David than she ever had with Cody. That hurts. That hurts a lot. A lot. Okay. They kill it more than you could ever kill it. Like, that hurts. So I think that we'll see some remnants of that. Like Cody will never come out and say, yeah, he's probably, doing the dirty, he's killing her. But he's never gonna come out and say that. And I feel so bad because this is happening. But especially because they have weird ways in which they deal with trauma, pain, and struggles. They have such a weird way in dealing with that. I can see him trying to vent it in other ways. So now all of a sudden he's going to have a different problem with Christine because she's smiling too much, she's laughing too much, she's too happy. So all of a sudden he's going to have a problem with like truly coming over and not having enough socks. Yo, you sat over my house. She was gonna be there for 3 days, 3 whole days, and you only sent her over there with 5 or 6 pair of socks. Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? The whole thing. He not mad about no damn socks. He mad because David over there knocking boots. Okay, so I think that that's going to be part of it. Also, a big thing that I think Cody's going to have a problem with, and this is something which is embarrassing to him and goes directly against something he said. The fact that he told her repeatedly, and I know that this is the case. I can't prove it, but this is my supposition, my opinion. He told her, and I feel like this is what he told her. You ain't never going to be able to find nobody better than me. You ain't never going to be able to walk out here and find somebody better than me. Not only are you not going to be able to find somebody better than me, don't nobody want you. Nobody thinks that you're attractive. You're lucky to be with me. I'm the reason why you get to be on TV because I am the personality. I'm the only one who decided to lower their standards enough to be able to accept you into the relationship. Why do I think that he said that? I think he said that to her because he kept talking about that damn nacho stuff. That's something he never had to bring up. That's something that he should have took to the damn grave with him. Okay? That's something he should have taken to the grave with him. Because if you've been with somebody for any amount of time, at some point they did something that make you go, oh, ugh. Ugh. They did something. Something happened. Now, if you're in love with that person, you might not even remember what it was. You know what I mean? But trust and believe at some point somebody did something. Ooh, can't believe they did that. Who does that? Right? If you are just have really good memory, maybe you can remember. Maybe the one time they watched their butt good or something. Like, I don't know. Something. Right? But what kind of person brings it up to that person? Especially in a position where you're not just bringing it up to say like, hey, babe, this is what I was thinking. You need to know this because this is something you can do to correct yourself or make yourself better as a person or whatever case may be. Or this is something that I wasn't attracted to you for. You bring it up specifically to humiliate her, publicly humiliate her. That's the only reason he brought that up. That's the only reason he brought that up. She too high on her britches. She had too much to say. She out here being mouthy. So I'm going to say something that's going to hurt her to her core, embarrass her and humiliate her so I can shut her the hell up. And I think that that's the reason why we heard about that story. And that's the reason why that's part of the sister wives folklore that we can always go back to. That's why I get to mention it on my live, because that's why he did it. That's why he did it. He wanted to embarrass and humiliate her. Now, of course, she turned. That's why when I posted on my page, and I got some heat because I posted in a couple videos her standing there eating the nachos with David, and she turned it around. That's why I turned it around the way I did. That's why I don't have a problem showing that picture or even talking about it, because she took that pain, that source of pain, embarrassment, and humiliation that he tried to impose on her, and she turned that shit around and she empowered herself with it. And now she's saying, look, I got a real man who don't give a shit how I eat nachos. He don't give a damn how I eat no nachos. In fact, he bought me this big ass plate of nachos that we are going to share. And we're going to enjoy the hell about these nachos. I found somebody who is compatible with me, who is going to support me, somebody who is on my side, somebody who is on my team, somebody who would never publicly humiliate me to make themselves feel better, bigger, stronger, and more dominant in our relationship. That's what I'm rolling with. So yeah, I'm gonna sit there with my plate of nachos. That's why I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with her doing the beer and Skittles thing. I don't have a problem because what she's doing is she's taking that power back. I don't have a problem with that. Some people may disagree, but everybody is entitled to their own opinion. So yeah, so the whole idea that she proved him wrong, and she not only went out and got another man, she went out almost immediately and found another man. It was so hard, because guys are going to look at her and say, if she could do that to a good man, then I don't want her. Remember that crap? All of a sudden she went out and got a good man. So what does that say, Cody? Maybe you're not a good man. I don't know. But that's one of the struggles, internal struggles that I think we're going to see through this season. And it's going to make itself a little more manifest, I think, during the course of the season. I'm almost done, guys, and get ready to call in and give your positions and opinions. The final thing, and probably the biggest thing that we're going to see during the course of these conversations is, in fact, I'm going to put the just take a little break real quick before I get into it, because I don't think you guys are getting the stuff that I'm putting in my YouTube chat box. So I'm gonna put it through here. It'll run through YouTube, but there's the link if you guys want to join. So, oh wait, I got some. Yeah, I got to do that. Real quick, I'm gonna run through this real fast, and then I will get to the super chats. I appreciate you guys sending those in. Thank you so much. Just real quick, long-awaited confrontations. Okay, we know Cody. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, let me go ahead and give people their flowers. Let's see. Tanya Johnson, $2 super chat. I feel like Robyn equals Cody's midlife crisis incarnate. Yeah, she's the true embodiment of Robyn is the true embodiment of Cody's midlife crisis. He got himself a sports car. He got the 2-seater sports car with 13 kids, 12 kids, or 13 kids at the time. Went and got himself a sports car and a motorcycle. So he did the whole midlife crisis run, got himself a younger girlfriend. And of course, it turns out pretty much how all those things turn out. So no surprises there. Just blew up in his face. It ain't you, it's me. I'm the one making this happen all day by myself, making it happen in the cut. And he leaves his wife, and all of a sudden, I miss her. I want her back. I'm so broke. To Tanya Johnson. Thank you so much, Tanya. I appreciate it. Next up, we have Daisy Reyes. Down there, super chat. Real talk. Cody thought Christine was hooked on the pickle. Yeah, he thought he had her. He thought he was dropping that magic on her. I got the magic. But turned out it was fugazi. Okay, it was straight fugazi. He wasn't dropping it on her. If he was pounding out work, let's be honest, he wasn't doing a good enough job to where she would forget her dignity and herself. So, oops, sorry, you messed that up. Didn't work out that good. So, but I'm gonna give Daisy a little thank you, super thank you. Yeah, thank you guys so much, Tanya and Daisy. Thank you guys so much. I will get to some comments real quick, but let me just get through these last little bit of points that I foresee coming in this next episode, what we're going to see over the course of this next season. Start next Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? Was it 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, okay? Depending on your cable provider. Long-awaited confrontations. I think that's what a lot of us are kind of waiting for, the long-awaited confrontations. We know Cody is going to blast Mary. We know that because we watched the trailer. In the trailer, he sits there and talks about how, he married the wrong person. They shouldn't have got married and this, that, and other. And I did a whole video about how if he didn't marry Mary, if he had not married Mary, none of his life, none of the good things, positive things that he, kind of defines himself as would have been possible. He wouldn't have been the man that he is today. Because had he not married Mary, he wouldn't have met Janelle, because Janelle was Mary's brother's ex-wife. he moved in with Janelle and probably felt comfortable moving in with Janelle and had the opportunity to move in with Janelle into her house because of his marriage to Mary. Mary and Janelle and Cody got to know each other because of Mary. Then when Janelle marries Cody and becomes the second wife, that opens up the possibility for him to meet and marry. I think he kind of knew Christine, but it gave the possibility that he will become Christine's third wife because if we recall, even from the book, Christine had stated that she always wanted to be the third wife. She didn't want to be the first wife because she didn't want to have to deal with the husband on a daily basis all the time. She didn't want to be, and it was too much pain to add a second wife. She didn't want to be the second wife because the second wife always has confrontation with the first wife. So she thought the smoothest route for a polygamous marriage for the wife position is the third wife, because then she gets to kind of heal the relationship between the first and the second wife, which apparently she did, and brought peace to the house. And she gets to move in. Now, Christine was also the person who was involved with an organization called Principal Voices that went out and tried to proclaim and normalize polygamy and polygamous families to mainstream America. So that's the whole purpose of that organization, to introduce polygamy and polygamous families to mainstream America. As part of that, she received media training, and she was presented with opportunities to have her and her family filmed. And when Cody found out about that, he said, hey, although I'm not interested in going to none of those meetings or doing none of the work, if they ever come to you and ask you about a TV show, you come back and present that to me so that we can move forward with that. Hence, she brought back the opportunity for him to meet the documentarian or the person who's involved with Sister Wives and Sister Wives producers. They talked. They're able to secure a television show for the Brown family. Once the television show they were in talks for the television show Sister Wives on TLC. All of a sudden, Robyn Brown pops up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, Lehigh, Utah, the bastion apparently of all polygamy in the AUB, she seemed to make her way down 5 hours on consecutive weekends so that she could start attending churches right after Cody gets the show. Coincidence? I don't know. But that's what happened. And because he had the show, it's my assessment, my opinion, my observation that that's what made him attractive, him and the Brown family attractive to Robyn. So you wouldn't have the current wife that you're so in love with, that's your soulmate. You wouldn't have her if it wasn't for your involvement back to the root with Mary. So for him to sit there and talk about how he can't believe that he married her and he married the wrong one. Bitch, if you wouldn't have married her, you wouldn't have had nobody. Okay? So get over yourself. Pardon my French. The second thing, of course, you want to see the confrontation between like the reintroduction and Christine and her full power, because the whole time that we've been watching Christine has never really been at full power, full capacity. And when I say full power, full capacity, just for definition's sake, what am I talking about? What I'm specifically talking about is uh, full power, full capacity, where she doesn't have anything to lose. She's no longer concerned with saying something to Cody and getting blowback and it not making him happy, and she having to deal with it in her relationships. If she's fresh out of give a damn and Cody says something to her, anybody who's ever been in a relationship, especially fellas, you know what I'm talking about. You ever been in a relationship with somebody and while you're in a relationship with them, they give you, we'll even use some of their terminology, their vernacular. They give you the cloak of charity. You say something to them and they might, give you some pushback. This person that you're involved with, they give you a little bit of pushback, but it's not like the both barrels, full brunt. Okay. It's still a little gentle. That's where we've seen Christine at. But now she's very likely to tell Cody the truth. When Cody come out and try to say some wild shit to her, well, like, you you do this and the county gonna take the kids and all that kind of stuff. And he tried to manipulate Christine and okay. Or when you sell your house, I think we should get half your house sale. And that's what you think? She didn't say like, oh, hell no, you ain't getting nothing. You ain't put in nothing, you ain't getting nothing out. Okay. And if you think you can get some money, sucker, take me to court, bitch. I want to see you in court. Take me to court, Cody. We didn't hear Christine say that. But what I am looking forward to Christine doing is not caring anymore and presenting herself as a person who doesn't care and doesn't have those fences, doesn't have that, oh, I'm not going to say this, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to give you what it is. So I think that that's going to be interesting. Janelle and Cody, I'm looking forward to seeing Janelle and Cody because Janelle's at that breaking point too, where she's also fresh out of Give a Damn. And she's tired of the excuses. She's tired of being ignored. We have the trailer where she's calling Cody, asking about the money, asking about the property, and Cody's not giving her a response. He's not answering her back because she's not doing what he wants her to do. So she said that she's gonna talk to a lawyer. Okay. So the funny thing to me with that is that the whole time Cody was trying to avoid the interjection of lawyers when he was talking to Christine about leaving and Truly, and oh, if you go get a lawyer, this is like season 18, episode 2. If you go get a lawyer, then we get lawyers involved, then the state will take Truly and they'll take control of her and we won't even have anything to do with her. Yeah, that's the law. That's the way it works. And now Christine is talking, or Janelle's talking about going to get a lawyer. Do you think the state is going to come and take Coyote Pass because she got a lawyer involved now? But there's also the point where I want to see there's also the confrontation, or at least the interaction of Janelle, Christine, Mary, and Robyn. Do you think Robyn is going to go back and ask the OG3 to give her permissions? Like, she remember in season 18, she was basically demanding that the OG3 give her permission to be happy with Cody. And of course, Christine was like, I ain't doing that. You got what you wanted. Like, I'm not going to kiss your butt. Like, you won. Okay, fine. You got everything you wanted. You won. I'm not going to get down on my knees and call you the greatest who ever did it. Like, you won the game. Okay, fine. Go ahead, take your prize and go home. Bye-bye. But that's what I think that came from somewhere. Okay. That sentiment that she uttered during the course of the tell-all, that came from somewhere. That just like the I ain't afraid of nothing but poverty, when he said that in season 17 tell-all, that came from somewhere. Okay, because if you go back to season 1, you can see where it came from. That whole they got to ask for my permission. I'm sure that in her mind, this is what she wanted them to do. And she very well may ask them to do it. And I want to see her ask them to do it. I'm hoping she does in season 18. I want you guys to give me permission. You're going to give me permission because y'all decided to leave. So y'all have to tell me that it's okay, that I'm happy. I'm not going to make you feel better about yourself. I'm not going to make you feel better about destroying my family. So no, I'm not going to give you permission. No, I'm not going to tell you I forgive you. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think that might be in this next season. Like I said, I want to see the context of Janelle saying that she wants to get legal counsel. I'm looking forward to that. I want to get the whole context of that conversation, though. I was very excited to hear the blurb, but I want to hear exactly how she's talking about it. And hopefully she doesn't backtrack on that whole thing. I'll be right with you in a moment. There's also the kids and how Cody is navigating through those relationships. I think that this is important, especially in light of Big G's and how, everything that happened with him. I don't necessarily want to see the confrontations between young Garrison and him, but just I would like to see some him making his way back to his kids and trying to mend those fences. I don't think it's going to happen in this season because this season, I think, at least from my understanding, is prior to the incident that happened with Big G. So that's the sad part about it. Because if we recall, in the last season, like Cody really drew some hard lines and said some nasty things about the OG 13, and some things I don't think it's easy for you to walk back. So I would like to see him at least try to start walking some of those things back in this season. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to see it happen. But that's what I have. Let me give one more thing, and I'll be right with you, Kitty. I have a couple of super chats that I wanted to get into. So selling your house, $9 super chat. Thank you so much, Sonia. Hey, Cody, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Yes, if you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's that weird point in reality where play stupid games intersects with stupid prizes, or as they say, you know, you have so much fuck around, and eventually you're gonna find out. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, part of my French, but sell your house in the house. There you go. And I didn't even intend to say it that time. Do that time. And one more. Susie Q, $5 super chat. Would love to see one of this. OG13 tell Cody, blame yourself if you don't want a relationship with you. Blame yourself if we don't want a relationship with you. And that's true. Like, it's up to him to really reach out, especially because he's done so many things to them and so many things and said so many things, not just about them. And this is one of the things that we have to keep in mind. You're not just talking about these kids, you're also talking about their moms. You're talking about their mama. Okay. And I can forget, like, just as a son, I can forgive a lot of things. I can forgive a lot of people. But if you offend my mother, that's a whole you can say whatever you want to say about me, but don't leave my mom the hell out of it. Right. And for some of these OG13, especially some of these young men, like I know the girls are sensitive about their moms too. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying for these young guys, like especially growing up in a household where the father isn't really present and you step into some of those roles in some respects, like as a protector of your mom, then all of a sudden you had this guy, even though he's your daddy, insulting your mom and saying wild stuff to your mom and not defending and protecting your mom. You could take that a certain kind of way and it could be a bad situation. So I appreciate your perspective, Susie Q. Let me give you a little something. All right. And one more. Here we go. YouTube is my time machine. What's up? YouTube is my time machine. $5 super chat. What? James, do you think we'll finally see the real dynamics of Cody and Robyn's relationship this season? I absolutely do not think so. I don't think so. You know why? Because they spend so much time hiding it. They spend so much time and energy and effort trying to hide their relationship. It actually turns most of the fan base against their relationship because you get their perspective. And I appreciate the question. I think it's a very valid question. But I think that you get so much of them trying to polish a turd and present their relationship. They polish that turd of relationship and like, here you go, that you don't see the bad side of it. And because you don't see the bad side, then it's hard to appreciate the good side. You need to have that opposition. I can't think of the word that I want to say, but you can't think of that opposition without, because when you have that struggle and you see people kind of struggling with each other, you see their happiness, you feel a connection. That's part of the reason why, like in some movies, or television shows, or even plays, really good plays, you'll have that struggle, that point, like all plays or whatever are hinged on the worst days of people's lives. That's what a play is. The conflict is usually the worst day of their life. That raises the stakes. And that struggle, as they're going through that struggle, you need to see what binds them, what holds them together. As this tough thing happens, like the separation of the family, the two of them coming together and being angry and vulnerable with one another. That's what makes the audience feel some compassion towards them. If you come off like, oh yeah, my 3 wives left me and I don't give a damn, I don't need them, whatever. Yeah, they helped build me up from nothing and they left, whatever. You don't care. Okay, well, I mean, it didn't hurt you and didn't affect you no kind of way. Maybe you're a jerk. Maybe you're a damn jerk. And that's why they left. So maybe you deserve it. And that's where a lot of the thing falls apart. So I don't think they're strong enough to show the vulnerability in their relationship. if that makes sense. Because you have to have a certain level of confidence and a certain level of security in order to fully show the vulnerabilities of your relationship. And I don't think that they have that. So hope that answers your question. Thank you, YouTube is my time machine. Good seeing you. Let me give you a little something, something. Oh, thing didn't work that time. Here we go. All right. And Kitty, hopefully you are ready. You see, if you want to about to call you up, Kitty. And if anybody would like to join the chat, you are more than welcome. And Kitty, I'm gonna pull you up in a couple seconds. Let me just drop the link. Ooh, drop this link in. There we go. I'm gonna drop the link again. Oops. There we go. And Kitty, you are ready to go. Here we go. Hey
And
Kitty, what's happening?
not too bad. I was gonna say to you, just ask one of your mods to pin it because they can pin it onto the chat.
Oh yeah, I tried in my hold on one second because you'll probably get a little bit of feedback.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Yeah, I tried to pin it earlier,
oh, okay.
but I'm having some kind of the Kremlins are in full effect. So
Oh,
I have one thing up, but my it won't let me go and pin in YouTube.
that's
So
weird.
yeah, I know. I know.
Mm.
Every week I have some kind of struggle or challenge that's unique to my situation. And I have no idea
Always,
what
right?
yeah,
Always.
if I wasn't getting tripped, I wouldn't think I was winning. So
Yeah. No worries. No, I'm just outside because all my kids are inside, and I don't feel comfortable having anybody seeing my kids. So
no, no, that's fine. I understand that. I
yeah,
more than understand that.
yeah. Like you were saying about Cody and his debacle and stuff. I mean, I mean, this is what he put in his bed. He might as well just lay in it
Right.
at
Right.
this point because I still think that I think he needs that accountability for sure.
Hmm.
That and the fact that he needs to have an actual therapist, like an actual therapist to actually help him out.
Right. Right. And I think that's actually an excellent point because here's the thing. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kitty, but I've also said that he needs to see a therapist. In fact, I think I said it earlier in this live,
Yeah, you
but
did.
when I talk about therapists, and I don't want to speak for you, but you can let me know if you agree. When I talk about needing to see a therapist, I'm not talking about somebody on the show. I'm talking
Yeah.
about somebody he goes and does like a whole production and oh, I'll talk to you, but I only want to talk about a couple things here and there, and I don't want any real pushback. I mean, he needs to go by himself in
Mhm.
private to sit and
Mhm.
talk to somebody and let everything out without
Mhm.
having to worry about NDAs, embarrassment, whatever, and being able to
Yeah.
get a lot of that off of his chest. Because if he
Yeah.
doesn't, it's going to rot him out, you know.
It's it's not only that, but also the fact that like it's gonna bite him in the ass.
Mm,
Pardon my French, but a lot of the stuff that he's done to these three women in particular is gonna bite him in the ass.
right, right. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of folks are. I know I'm looking forward to, like the whole thing with not Robin, Janelle saying that she was going to possibly talk to an attorney. I think that
Mhm.
that's why that's a big deal because it's not just the fact that she's trying to destroy Cody financially, but it's
Yeah.
her asserting herself, taking her life back.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what where if he's not learning how to manage these relationships, a lot of the problems that he's going to face, especially if he faces any type of litigation or any type of litigious threat, is going to come from the fact or stem from the fact that he didn't treat or maintain these relationships properly. If he
Yeah.
had handled these relationships properly, had the conversations, picked the phone up when Janelle called, had the conversations like an adult, then a
Mhm.
lot of this would not be an issue.
Well, yeah, and then a lot of the people would actually agree, like would actually give him more credit. But again, like like I said, I think he's not going to go to an actual therapist. He's going to go to like one of the church's therapists, which is like almost like another Jody Hildebrandt in a sense. And I feel bad for saying that, but that's how I feel. And
Hmm.
I think that's not the right way to go. I think
Right.
that what he needs to do is actually go see a non-partisan, unbiased therapist.
Right. You know, that's actually a really good point, because if he does see somebody who is in the faith, a lot of the problems that he has in his relationships are based on and foundationally born from the positions that he learned while in his faith. Men are always right. The relationship should hub. Basically, he's the hub and the center of the universe, and all the family, whether it's the kids or the wives, revolve around him and his interests, his goals, things that he wants to achieve for himself. That he is, in fact, as a person, interchangeable with a term or phrase he consistently uses, which is the big picture and the family. He is the big picture. He is the family.
Hmm.
So if you go to talk to somebody who's going to say, "Yeah, you're right," you know,
Yeah.
why are these women falling in line?
Yeah.
That's not going to help him. You know what I mean?
No.
So
No.
yeah, I
And I
agree.
mean, like, if it was like a therapist, like the podcast Mormon Stories, or um Jordan and McKay, I would be more like lenient on that, because they're not biased on the religion. They're they just tell straight facts, and religion
Mhm.
is not in that factor of that.
Right, right. And I think that that's part of it too. If you And that's one of the weird things as well, because if you're going to seek religious counseling, and it's not saying it always has to be separate, but if you're
Hmm.
seeking religious guidance, that's one thing. But if you're actually seeking mental health, then you
Hmm.
want to go see a mental health professional. If I have like I could have the most wonderful dentist in the world. I could have the
Hmm.
most wonderful, extraordinary dentist in the world. But if I have a back problem, me going to see my dentist isn't going to help me with my back problem. You know what I mean? So you want to see you want to see the right person for the right job. Get the right tool for the right job. And
Yeah.
like you said, if he's going to go see people who are going to give him, these and I don't want to I don't want to I'm really
Validations.
trying to yeah, exactly. I'm really not trying to criticize their faith or their religion,
Yeah.
but
Like
some things
like
will
just
help you and
like
some things won't.
validations of what he's saying. Yeah.
Mhm,
I mean, I do understand where you're coming from. I'm not trying to say, like, all religion is bad, because there is some religious people that aren't. And
mhm,
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, like, if they just validate his reasonings, or his faith, that, to me, that is not a good therapist. A good therapist is unbiased
right,
in their opinion, no matter if it's faith based or not.
right, right. And that's the thing too, is that I think part of the struggle with somebody who is maybe from his faith or one of the religious leaders is the
Hmm.
idea that they don't necessarily try to understand the other party.
Yeah.
So if he's in an argument with his wives, they're not trying to understand what their perspective is, what their understanding or their experiences in this relationship and
Hmm.
how it's being applied. They merely look at Cody and say, "Well, did you do A, B, and C as a good husband? Looks like you did. These women are wrong." And I don't think
Yeah.
that that will help him. Like, I don't think that'll
No.
help him, you know?
No.
And like,
And yeah, and I mean, like, it is what it is. Like, a lot of these healthcare professionals, most of them are they are certificated professionals, or even have degrees in that sort of base. But you also have to remember, you have to find the ones that actually will truly give a perspective of
mhm,
that profession.
right, right. Well, again, it's just finding the right person for the right tool.
Yeah.
Peggy Peggy said there are some religious who aren't bad people. Thanks. I too am religious. I have religion. I have faith, but at the same time, like I think that like we can't ignore the needs of the people who are around us. Like The
Mhm.
same way I can look at somebody else's religion and say that your religion is an answer to you the way my religion or my faith is an answer to me. And neither one of us is wrong. It's
No.
just that you have what you need in your faith, I have what I need in my faith. When it
Yeah.
comes to some of the applications, kind of what we're talking about is when it comes to some of the applications of Cody trying to understand why his wives left him, somebody coming in and saying that your wives left you because they aren't religious enough, or they don't have enough faith, or they don't have enough religion, and not exploring the fact that you didn't make them feel secure. You didn't
Yeah.
make them feel safe in their relationship. They didn't feel like they had partners. They were a partner in this relationship. They felt like they were subservient in your relationships,
Yeah.
and that they felt like their goals and their needs weren't being met. More importantly, they felt like their kids' goals and then
Yeah.
things their kids need weren't being met.
Yeah.
That's why they left. If they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
cover those things, then they're not doing Cody any service.
Yeah. And I'm really sorry there, Peggy. I didn't mean that like some people in religion are bad people. I'm just saying the ones that tend to oversell their religion are the ones tend to be the ones that have to be more, you have to be more cautious with than others.
Yeah,
That's what I
no, I
meant.
agree.
Not like, all religious people are bad. No, or all religions are good. No, there is that inconsistency in both lanes. It's just you have to like literally go through it with a fine tooth comb.
Right,
Does that make
right.
sense?
No, I agree. I agree. So I think that it comes down to one of my precepts has always been that the as faithful as you may be, the devil is in the church too. Like
Yeah.
because it's always like, oh, it's a safe place and the devil can't come in there. No, the devil,
No,
not only is the devil
no,
in the church, he knows the scriptures because he was there when the scriptures were written. So he knows everything that you know. He can cite them backwards and forwards, and more importantly, he can weaponize them to
oh yeah.
deceive you and trick you. So if you are dealing with somebody who is of a shady, has a shady background and or just bad intentions, they can lead you the wrong way. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
that that's part of it too.
Yeah. And I mean, like for me personally, I do not have any beliefs anymore, just due to the fact that I have been spiritually abused.
Mm,
But again, like I said, like not all people are bad, no matter if they have a different religion or not. Like I know for a fact that my parents are the most sweetest pair I've ever met. And yes, they are religious, and that doesn't really matter to me because
mhm.
I know who they are inside and out. If I and make it to the other spectrum, like Cody and Robyn, who uses religion, same with Warren Jeffs and Jody Hildebrand and Ruby Frankie and all of them, they use it to harm people. And
Right,
that to me is no good. So there's those two different spectrums. There is people that are in the middle that are not all good, but they're not all bad. You know what I mean?
right, right. Well, quiet is kept. If whether you're religious or not, we're all kind of in that. Nobody is all good and nobody's
Oh no,
all bad.
no.
You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
no.
So
But there
we all kind of fishing out the same pond. The only difference is kind of what you had said earlier is that you
mhm.
have a group of people who will profess that they are not part of that group. I'm not
Yeah.
because I'm saved. I'm not a sinner. I no longer sin. Everybody sins, whether you're
Oh god,
saved or
yeah,
not.
everybody's.
Everybody sins. So it's
Oh
just
yeah.
a matter whether you own it or not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And like I said, like my parents are not like, they're religious, but they're not saints. I'm not
Mhm.
saying that they are. I'm just saying they're the type of people that they are good people, and you can tell that they're good people and they do good things. And then there's the people, like I said, on the other side of the spectrum that are not that good and tend to be overzealous.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's fair play.
no. Uh no, and I do agree with you, Julie, too. Like he is a narcissist, and he takes everything to I feel like he's taken it to almost to the extreme, or to the extreme to him. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think that that's also part of it too. Is that a lot of times the concept or idea of narcissist doesn't mean that it automatically shuts off any possibility of treatment or therapy. It
Hmm.
just simply means it's a diagnosis, like
Yeah.
psychopathy, like sociopathy, like anything else. It's a
Hmm.
diagnosis, and it
Oh
just
yeah.
if anything, it's indicative of the type of treatment this person needs to receive in order for them to find what that balance that they need in their life. And by Cody being a narcissist, does that mean that he's a trash person and he's no longer of use? No. What it
No.
means is that he needs to find somebody who can treat him for the things that he suffers with. Like you have the diagnosis, you figure out what you need to do to help or assist him where he is. Now, does this absolve him of the things that he's done by
Hmm.
us being able to label it or call it a certain thing? Absolutely not. If you did something wrong, you have to own the thing that you did wrong. But at the same time, there is a pathway for you to find some source of redemption. And I think, just to add to that, I think that that's very important, not necessarily for Cody's sake. I think it's very important because Cody is the father of children. He has kids and people who rely on him and are looking to him for guidance, companionship, for assistance, for counsel, so on and so forth. And I think that it's important that he gets the help that he needs, not only for his own benefit. I mean, it would be nice if he did it for himself, but there are other people to think about and to consider as well.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this about like a couple of narcissists that I do know. Most of them will take most narcissists will take accountability if they know that they need to. Most narcissists don't, and that, yes, it is sad to hear that, but at the same time, you kind of have to realize that most narcissists need need either that validation or need to realize, like, oh, I need to take accountability for that. And it could be like a really small accountability too. It doesn't have to be a huge one, but just Cody is not doing that. And I think that type of narcissism in his favor is more of the extreme narcissistic than others.
Right, right, right. And I think that he has he's he does what narcissists do. Like, and I don't know him, so it's hard for me to say, oh, he's
Hmm.
absolutely positive. What he displays, he has narcissistic tendencies in my experience. Or if you just want to call it in more the colloquial vernacular, he's an asshole. And when rubber meets road, he has to find his balance.
Yeah.
You have to find your balance and you have to get over yourself for you to be able to find happiness with other people. Because if you don't pursue this, you will systematically, Cody will systematically destroy the relationships that he has now and the relationships he garners in the future. So he has to be able to do something. And because if he doesn't, the bottom line is that what they used to say in the old days, if you don't do something to change, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're gonna keep getting what you've been getting. So
Yeah.
if Cody doesn't do anything to substantively change how he treats his relationships, he's going to continue to lose relationships. He's going
Yeah.
to continue to, feel abandonment from his children. He's going to continue to feel abandonment and betrayed from the people around him. If you don't know how to fix it, then you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And
What?
my whole thing is, Cody, if you ever watch this, go get help so that you can improve your life and your lifestyle, not just for you, but you have to think about the people around you, the people who rely on you, the people who are trusting in you to be a better person. Do it for them. If you're not going to have the strength and courage to do it for yourself, do it for your kids. You
Yeah.
know,
And also, like, I'm not gonna try. And if Cody does watch, I am not trying to call you a narcissist, but you have the capacity and the tendencies of a narcissist. I think that he needs that to be totally diagnosed for order for him to go move on from what's going on.
right, right. To Cairo's point, 4402. I'd be worried he would weaponize the diagnosis to manipulate the kids and women into forcing a relationship uh, through
Through the TV
the
show.
through the TV show. But well, here's the thing. Hey, here's the thing, and I've always said this as well, Cairo. I 100% agree with that because in in most cases, so there are people who go to therapy so that they can learn about themselves, so that they can improve their approach to their life and lifestyles, improve their behavior, improve their attitude, so on and so forth. There
Mhm.
are people who go to therapists and weaponize everything about the therapy session. And I
Yeah.
say that in support of something that appeared on the Sister Wives program. When Cody and Mary went to go sit down and talk to the relationship therapist about their marriage, Cody specifically said in that therapy session, I don't want to talk about me. I'm not taking blame for anything that happened. I want to talk about her. I want to talk
Yeah.
about what she's doing wrong. I want to talk about the things she needs to do to improve our relationship. I want to talk about basically therapist, counselor lady, I forget her name. I
Uh,
want you to join with me to humiliate her and make her feel bad so that I can bend her to do the things I want her to do. And I
yeah.
think that at that moment, it was the therapist's duty to stop the therapy session. At that moment, you stop the therapy session and you either break out and do a one-on-one with Cody, break out, do a one-on-one with Mary, or you reschedule it and try to figure it out so you can start trying to piece this together so that you can give help or assistance. Because Cody
Yeah.
wasn't going there to get better, he was going there to sharpen his stick. And that's all that was. So when you
Yeah.
give the problem with talking to something like sociopaths, psychopaths, or even people who have those dissociative disorders, a lot, not dissociative, but when they have these types of disorders where they're not really feeling the type of emotions that they should feel, and they're more the students of humanity, then they learn intellectually what they should be feeling. They learn intellectually what other people will be feeling, and they learn how to try to manipulate those feelings. When to call on the tears, when to call on the outrage, when to call on the sympathy, when to call on their other people's rage, sympathy, outrage, or emotions, and how to manipulate them to get the best outcomes for themselves. So the one scary part about putting somebody in who's a narcissist is that you might be giving them information to not get better, but how to better use other people.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the not the first therapist that they had, the second therapist have called him out multiple times about what he was trying to do to all three of those women,
Mm,
and decided not to give him the weapon that he needed to
right.
make it worse. And I actually am very thankful that she did that, just to protect the women and not to feed his ego.
Yeah, well, because that's the whole thing too, is that 90% of his relationships, that's what it's about. It's about his ego and
Yeah.
how, like he said, like he said, it's all ego, baby. You know, in season 17 tell on when he was talking to Suki. It's all ego, baby. And that was probably the most honest
That and the Parvati
answer.
one was his most honest answers I've ever seen.
Right, right. That was his most honest input. That's all about
Yeah.
ego. You're right, Cody. It is your ego that's in your way of your happiness and
Yep.
destroying your life.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and also though too, as I also mean that I also think that Robyn should also get herself mentally checked out too, just due to the fact that she does have some of the same markers as Cody does, and two
mhm.
narcissists are never good in a relationship together.
No, no, no. It's probably the most destructive thing that could happen. But
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm glad you actually mentioned that because I have a video coming out specifically talking about the 7 reasons why uh Robin's relationships failed. And I'm gonna kind of dig into that, and I'll be releasing that this week, probably on Tuesday, because I have the live tomorrow with Sarah.
Hmm.
But um that's one of the things that I wanted to address is the fact that when you have Cody and Robyn, just as a little, give you guys a little prequel, a little, not a prequel, a little preview of what I'm going to talk about. But one of the things that I have always had a problem with Cody's and Robyn's relationship dynamic is that Robyn was somebody whom Cody had always pursued and Cody had always gone after. And so because he was going after her the way she is, he started to reflect some of her perspectives on life. So she has a tendency to weaponize victimhood,
Hmm.
find self-pity. She and part of her victimology, when she victimizes herself, is that she becomes the victim so that she can stay the center of attention. That's how, to me, that's how she expresses her form of narcissism. She uses her victimhood and how everybody is against her and how everybody mistreats her, and you should all feel so bad for me, as to why everybody should pay attention to me. When
Hmm.
something bad happens, it's not how it affects you. And I don't want to be a jerk, but like when Big G's passed,
Yeah.
I felt like she used that as, not as, Janelle, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for you that you lost a child. It was, this is how this affected me, and this is what I'm going through. You understand
Yeah.
what I mean? So she can't even put somebody who is directly involved with him. This is her
Yeah.
child. This isn't your
Yeah.
child. Even though you
Yeah.
guys claim that, this is her biological, there every day, knew him before he knew you child. And
Yeah.
he's gone. And you're talking about how it affected you. When the relationships
Yeah.
fell apart and you got divorces, which was probably a better example, and I apologize for that. I'll use this example. When the
Hmm.
relationships fell apart,
Hmm.
she talked about how she felt bad that Cody and Christine and Mary and Janelle's relationships didn't work, never taking into account how these women felt leaving these relationships that they dedicated 30 years of their lives to, and they had
Or
to leave
even
these
plus of that.
relationships.
Yeah.
Right, and how it affected them and how it affects their kids. But it's
Yeah.
all about how it's affecting her. So it's that type of thing that I'm going to talk about in this video I have coming up. So guys, keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the other thing too, is like she doesn't understand what these kids have gone through, especially the original 13. They have gone through so much crap because of their dad doing what he was doing to their moms.
Right.
And to be perfectly honest, I wasn't really all that surprised that a lot of his children did not want to communicate with him at all. Or Robyn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you can only
You can only
mistreat them so much and do so
yeah.
much to them, and then the fact that they isolated them, and in a weird way, with the whole COVID experience, there's been a lot of positions that have been taken. One of which is that I've even recently heard that the allegation that the nanny bringing COVID to Robin's house, and her having to apologize after the family gathering
Mhm.
about, I possibly introduced COVID to you guys. I'm so sorry, that
Yeah.
actually might not have been true. And that she had said that because she didn't want to have any more family gatherings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's true, I don't know how true that is, but
Yeah.
if that's true, that's that's horrible. That's
Mhm.
horrible. But that would be another example of how you allowed the pandemic to separate your family, ostracize your family, isolate your family, and then dismiss a good portion of your family. And those kids who were used to, especially the older kids who were used to having constant contact with Cody, to be shot out or ignored, shut out and ignored, that would affect them a little differently. I think that landed a little harder for them.
Yeah. I am so sorry. I'm in direct route of the Stars helicopter, which is the ambulance helicopter for the hospitals around in this area.
Mm. Oh, I
So
can't
I'm
hear
sorry
it.
about the helicopter noise. If it looks hazy, I'm really sorry. There's been forest fires happening around my province and in my province, so it's kind of like crap. Nothing I can do
No,
to
that's no
make it
worries.
anything better.
No, it's no worries. It's no worries. But I
Oh,
appreciate you calling in. Thank you so much.
no problem. And I'm gonna head off. I will
All
be
right.
in chat. I'll see you guys
Okay.
later.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. All right. Gotta call in. Let me give wait, why is that? Okay, here it is. Like, why is my stuff not showing up? Let's go ahead and give her a round of applause. Awesomeness. Awesomeness. All right, guys. We got a little longer if you guys want to somebody else wants to jump in. We got about 10 more minutes. Because like I said, I'm gonna try to keep it to the tight too, moving forward. Because next week, guess what? we got Sister Wives. We got Sister Wives season kickoff, and I'm going to be in the house doing my after show. So next week it won't be at 7 o'clock, but we will be hooking up at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time because guess what? I'm going to talk about my first impression of the first episode, and then every episode after that, obviously, I'm going to give my first impression. I want to try to keep it down to maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours, just so it can make it a little more user friendly for the rewatch folks, because 5 hour lives is long. Okay, but we'll do it that way, and it'll be a great time. It'll be a great time because I know this. Because if they do this first episode like they did that last season, where the first episode was Cody and Christine meeting at the Bravo place, which I might have to go. I think I might have to take out a trip out to Arizona. I won't cruise Cody Pass or drive by Robyn and Cody's McMansion, but I might go ahead and hit that Uno Bravo up to see what that's about. Because Cody be tearing that shit up. He was like, "What, you leaving? Oh. That must be delicious." Because I've never seen somebody get dumped to be more interested in scooping up some food than trying to work their relationships out. What, we talk about the kids? Oh, visitation. Hold on a second. Oh, this is divine. I love that. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link in there one more time, one more again. So if you guys want to jump in, you're more than welcome. I have to figure out what's wrong with my other stuff before next week because I will be dropping it and we'll have it at the top. Yeah, thanks for calling in. That was awesome. You guys are more than welcome to call in. If you don't want to appear on screen, you can just turn your camera off and we'll just take the phone call, hear your voice. But we have a few more. We have a little bit longer. Let me take a look through some of these comments because you guys dropped some gems in the comment section. I don't get to post them all the time. I do read through them, but I don't get to post them all the time. Trying to catch up with some of the comments. Let's see. I'll start from the closest. See, Peach. Yes, Tony is more likable than Cody, and Tony did seem to have real affection and respect for women, but the psychiatrist realized she was only making him a better sociopath. Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is clutch because as we talked about like with Kitty, one of the key things is that, and this is why I mean, to be honest with you, where my feeling for this, I'll tell you about the story time. I'll tell you about the my origins of where I came to this conclusion about some sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, so on and so forth, where they study about human behavior. They study psychology. These guys, there was an old saying: people who go into psychiatry and the mental fields are people who are typically trying to figure out what's wrong with them first. That's what sparked their interest in finding out about psychiatry and psychology and all that. It wasn't a general care for other human beings, helping other people's mental health. They wanted to find out what was wrong with them. So, branching from there, you look at people who don't feel what other people feel, but want to fit in. They don't want to draw attention to themselves. So they have to learn through observation. Okay, when this happens, this is the reaction that these folks have. They cry, somebody dies, they cry. They don't necessarily feel sad, but they know that they should be crying when somebody passed away. They should talk low and they should talk sad and they talk slow and they practice. It's all, you know what I mean? They just don't feel it for themselves. It's not something that they feel independently. It's something that they learned to emulate. And part of the reason why I say that it can be extremely damaging, forcing people like that into therapy, if they're not going into it for the right reasons, is a lot of the reason why I say that people who are trying to seek closure, because I've never been a huge fan of like seeking closure in relationships. Closure is you accepting your current reality. That for me, that's closure. Okay. Closure is not you having a conversation with the person you were in a relationship with to find out the reason why they left. Because in most cases, they're not even going to tell you, they're never going, well, full stop. They're never going to tell you what you want them to tell you. They're never going to list out the reasons of why they're a jackass and why you're an awesome person, why you were the best lover, most responsible person, most wonderful, kind-hearted person that they've ever met, and that they've destroyed this beautiful relationship and it's all their fault. They're not going to give you that. What they're going to give you is something to the effect of all the stuff that you weren't doing. True or not, where you failed. True or not, that's what they're going to tell you. And that's your closure. Okay. And that's your closure. Okay. And the worst part is that if you go to people who are jerks, assholes, those types of people, and you explain to them what they did to you, why it was wrong, how you felt, how they made you feel, what made you vulnerable, what made you think you could stay, what made you think that the relationship would work, etc., etc. Because they don't care about you, they're not listening and hearing you say these things and feeling sympathy for you. What they're learning is how to manipulate the next person. They're learning how they can weaponize the feelings and emotions that you have on the next person they deal with. You're making a better asshole. In other words, you're refining them. And I think that with some of the people who are, you know, suffer from certain conditions, if they're not getting the type of treatment that they need from the appropriate professionals, people who know and can recognize what it is they're doing. If they're not getting that help from those appropriate professionals, they're going to take advantage of the system and learn to game the system. They're going to learn to game the people that are around them and learn how to better manipulate the people around them. And that's not going to be beneficial for anybody else. Let me take a look. Let's see. Raspberry. Hey, raspberry. I don't know how Robyn grew up. Maybe she had a narcissistic father, and being with Cody is very comfortable and familiar. I think that part of what they were saying is that the way she grew up, and my perspective of it, is that Robyn's natural father was separated from her mom early on. I think around when she was 8 or 9 years old, and her mom married her stepfather, who is the polygamous guy. And basically, her mom did to her stepfather's other family what Robyn did to the Brown family, essentially. And the thing is that being on the outside, or being an add-on, being somebody who is considered an outsider, you learn certain things. And when you have huge families, you have these big, huge families, it's easier to get attention when you learn that being a victim, or somebody is picking on you, or somehow you're hurt, or you're in need, or you're in crisis, you get a lot more attention than somebody who is even doing the right thing. And I think that that's one of the things that she learned and maybe she took into adulthood. I can see that universe where she learned that, if I'm having a problem and I'm really depressed at school and I'm really not having a good time because the kids are picking on me and I'm an outsider and I don't feel welcome because I'm a polygamist and I have all these reasons. If Tommy, my brother, is going to school and he's an A student and he has a spelling bee that night, I can get dad to come around if I tell him that I'm feeling bad and I feel like I'm being victimized by the kids in my class. He's going to come over to try to solve my problems as opposed to go over and celebrate my brother's accomplishments. And if she had a couple instances where that was positively reinforced because she received the positive or the sought after result, that can teach her that being a victim is okay and this is the way to go and this is the way to pursue life. And she brings that into her relationships as she gets older. She's always the victim. Somebody's always doing something to her and she's never wrong. And the squeaky wheel gets the oil and, the loud one gets the attention. So she gets to be the center of attention, and feeling that you have to be the center of attention, feeling that you have a deficit in how much people are paying attention to you and whether people see you or they don't see you. That's also a thing I think that she brings from her childhood into her adulthood and applies to her relationships. Um yep, but that is what's this? James, I've been learning th- that in the therapy world, narcissists are usually not able to be treated. They don't have the ability to introspect and usually die narcissists. I think that that's true. I think that it's hard. And again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't try. I don't want people to feel like it's hopeless if you find that you are part of that group or somebody who's part of that group. It's not hopeless, but it's challenging because they don't have retrospective. And a lot of what drives and if you think about like even the origin, what drives you to have retrospection? What drives you to look inside yourself to figure out what's wrong? Is for you to feel like there's something wrong. If you don't feel anything, then you don't feel the desire to find out why. It's the conundrum of like in uh quantum physics where they talk about like the first mover, position of the first mover. If you could go back in time, like the biggest mistake in your life, if you could go back in time to correct the biggest mistake in your life and you actually succeeded, then you make the mistake, you move forward along the timeline, you go back to correct the mistake. But if you correct a mistake, when you move forward and you get to the point where you should go back to correct the mistake, there's no mistake to correct. That creates that's usually when the universe explodes because you created a time paradox. And I think that that's kind of where the narcissists are. A long way to explain it, but if you don't find that what you did is wrong and you don't understand what you did is wrong, for you to move forward, for you to look back and say, this is what I did wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. What's the problem? Uh $5 super sticker from Raspberry. Thank you so much, Raspberry. I appreciate you. Let me give you a little something, something. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Awesomeness. Um, yeah, and I think Kelly, I think that's the point. It's not like there's no there isn't a successful practice that's run solely by mental health practitioners who solely deal with narcissists and the guy drives a BMW. Like, you know what I mean? He lives in a $50 million home because the business is so good. Like if you you could make your primary practice targeted towards dealing with narcissists, but narcissists voluntarily coming in to seek your help, you'll be out of business. You will be out of business soon. There will be a there's gonna be like a one of them clothing stores, teeny bopper clothing stores in your what used to be your office. Uh what is this? Robyn didn't want the half life her mother had, not ex-mother. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon me, Nicole. That's why she kept Cody close to her hip. But doing that, she dismantled the entire family. I don't believe that she wanted to be the only wife. I don't, you know what? And I talk about that in my next video. I'm not even going to give you guys the prequel or the trailer. But yeah, I talk about I do address that in my next video because I don't think that she necessarily wanted to be the only wife. But we'll talk about it. But there was unnecessary things. What I'll say this, and I think this is a great distinction, Nicole. I think that even looking at how she approaches um how she approached the family, she will go into the explanation that she never, ever wanted the family to break apart. This isn't what she wanted and all that stuff. But conversely, the things you did, it was inevitable the family was going to break up. It was inevitable because if you have a cookbook and you looked up the recipe to destroy your relationships or your family, you have all the ingredients. Okay. You can't go in and with all the ingredients to make a chocolate cake and then say, you know what I want? I want an omelet. I guess you could make an omelet from it. But I want a bacon omelet. Like, well, they don't have bacon omelets and chocolate cake. So you only have the ingredients to make a chocolate cake. And that's what you made. You followed the ingredients to destroy your relationship. You followed the recipe to destroy your relationship. And you destroyed your relationships. So it didn't matter really whether you wanted the relationships to fail or not. Let's see. Kim Appel. Narcissists blow up every relationship. They just move on to the next relationship to get their supply. They get worse as they age. People get tired of the BS and cut the narcissist off. And unfortunately, because they're narcissists, half the time, none of the stuff that happens in their life is their fault or their problem. And it's always somebody else. So when somebody does leave or they're no longer a part of that situation, to expand on Kim's very good point, salient point, when they do leave, it's their fault. It's their failure. They betrayed me. Even though I did everything wrong. I was cheating on my wife like a son bitch. I can't believe she left me. She's betrayed me. You know what I mean? You can't see anything that you did is wrong. So you don't because you didn't, as mentioned earlier, because you don't have the ability to have that retrospective because what you did wasn't wrong and nothing, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault. So when people leave, they betrayed you. And because they betrayed you, not only did they commit the sin of leaving, but they committed the sin of abandoning you. And that makes them terrible people and you the victim. And so therefore, in their minds, like it's easier, and it's also easier for them to move on to the next relationship because if you aren't praising them, worshiping them, and holding them up on a pedestal, they don't want you around anyway. So I mean, it's an ugly cycle, and I think that creates part of the problem. That's what I have. But so I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to close down the phone lines. Thank you so much, Kitty, for calling in and participating. You guys, next week, I will be opening the phone lines to get your perspective on the first blush of what happens on Sister Wives. So I encourage you guys all to get ready. You can hit that link. You can jump on. And again, if you want to come on and you don't want to have your picture up or your video camera on, that's fine. Just when you come into the backstage, you hit the link. You don't automatically come up. You hit the link, you go into my backstage. When you're in my backstage, you can send me private messages. Just send me a private message, say, hey, I don't want to have my video up, my picture up when I come up to speak or whatever. I'll send you a message. Okay, cool. And you just take your picture down. And then when I bring you on, all I have is like a little phone line or whatever to let me know that you're there and we'll have a conversation. It'll be awesome. Can't wait. But next week, Sister Wives, we won't be doing a 7:00. We'll be doing a post show, which is right after Sister Wives airs. We're going live and we're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about some of the things we see, some of the things that we recognize, some of the old tropes that they're going to be trying to drag out. We're going to be talking about everything. So thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. Look for my videos this week. I'm going to be dropping videos daily. So I'll try to drop them in the morning. I won't drop one tomorrow morning, but I will drop one on Tuesday morning because I have the live with Sarah tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're closing out the Sister Lives, talking about the old episodes. We're in season 3, and we're about to talk about like the first time that they actually encounter people who disagree with them, or they get challenged on challenge on polygamy. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow, as well as we'll be closing out the season finale of Forbidden Love, the TLC's new show. So hopefully you'll be able to join me and Sarah tomorrow. If you can't, we'll be having a replay on that live if you want to check it out, as well as my video drops. I'm also going to be I'm coming up with a new system, so I'll be able to get more of my my take on family law stuff out for those who've been asking. I know you want it. I know you want to see it, and it's coming. But thank you guys so much for participating. Let me give everybody in the chat a huge thank you, because I appreciate you guys. Thank you, and good night, everybody. And here is the huge outro. So thank you guys. Look forward to seeing you, and have a great night.